So I want to shift a little here, because and I think it's important. And we talked about talking about your son Charlie, who passed away last year, and the reason I find this important is that when I started out, and he was 24 when he died,
Yeah.
and I know I did a lot of irresponsible things, experimented, did a little cocaine, certainly drank to excess. And I think a lot of improvisers can relate to that behavior. And so tell us how your son died.
Okay. Yeah. And now a very special episode of Blossom. Let's drop everything from entertaining improv. Uh, but yeah, I appreciate you asking about it. Charlie was probably, like you said, a pretty typical 24-year-old kid. And he was living on his own, and he was waiting tables, and he was going to UIC here in Chicago, and he was a musician, and he was a social activist. Really, he had been part of Black Lives Matter for years, long before it became what it is now, and very, very proud of all the things that he accomplished in his short life. And as much as I would really like to focus on his life, which was extraordinary, he really did a lot of good things that I continue to learn from. I think what you're talking about is we can also learn a little bit about something about how he died. And that was that Charlie would occasionally, well, he would drink. That's not occasionally. He was your typical 24-year-old drinking. But once in a while, he would also, I learned later, have a little cocaine. And unfortunately, one night he had some cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. He didn't know it was, and it killed him. And he was not a drug addict, and he did not intend to kill himself. And the more I read about this since then, I didn't even know what fentanyl was. And now I read all sorts of stuff about the fact that, in Cook County last year, more people died of a fentanyl overdose than died of gunshot wounds, and, Chicago and gunshots. And I don't think it gets the attention that, crimes of violence do, because I think people think, yeah, well, they were doing something illegal. Boo hoo. They were taking drugs. They shouldn't have been taking drugs. Sorry. And so as it also disproportionately affects communities of color and poor people. And so I think that is part of the reason why it doesn't get that attention too, it seems. But I think that what I want anybody out there to know is that drug dealers don't give a shit about you. And they will lace your drug with fentanyl, not to kill you. Drug dealers don't want to kill you. They want to increase your need. And fentanyl, when added to cocaine or to heroin or other drugs, Xanax, can make that drug more powerful, but it also makes it more addictive. And that's what they want. Instead of you coming to them once every 2 months for a little dime bag, they want you to come every week. And they figure if they can get you hooked on the fentanyl, then they've got you. And it's incredibly addictive. And that's what happened to Charlie. Most people who die from a fentanyl overdose didn't even realize that they were taking it. They thought they were taking something still dangerous, but not nearly as deadly as fentanyl. And so I guess every opportunity I have to put that out there. So thanks for asking, Jimmy. Anybody who's listening to this podcast, if I just want you to think about it and tell your friends and your kids, and just, be very careful out there.